There's no debate to trans people's existence. Full stop. It's not a debate. We're real.
We don't want anyone to live their life and feel like they're in the wrong body or they're completely just unhappy in their soul.
They were always in the spotlight, but not always living as their true selves. These celebrities took a brave step, choosing to live openly and authentically, no matter what the world thought. Their stories are about strength, identity, and breaking barriers in front of millions. Some faced backlash, others became icons. But each journey is powerful, personal, and worth telling. You've seen their faces, you've heard their names. Now, discover the transformations that changed everything and inspired countless others to do the same. Their stories are not just personal. They are powerful examples of courage that help others feel seen, supported, and inspired. One of the most well-known names in this conversation is Caitlyn Jenner. Known to millions as an Olympic gold medalist and a reality TV star, she shocked the world when she announced her transition. It was not just about changing her name or appearance. Caitlyn talked about struggling with her gender identity for most of her life. Her story was raw and honest, and for many, it opened the door to understanding what transgender people go through behind closed doors. But Caitlyn isn't the only one who's used fame to speak up. Elliot, the talented actor from films like Juno and shows like The Umbrella Academy, made headlines when he shared his journey as a transgender man. His story added another important voice to the conversation, especially for trans men, who are often less visible in the media. Elliot spoke openly about what it meant to finally feel comfortable in his own skin. He also used his platform to talk about issues affecting trans youth, from mental health struggles to legal rights. Then there is Jazz Jennings, who brought a very different kind of visibility. Jazz started living as a girl at just 5 years old, and her journey has been shared with the world through her long-running TV show. While many people go through their transition in private, Jazz did it all in front of cameras, from school challenges to major surgeries. Her story gave viewers a close-up look at what it's like to grow up trans and why support from family and community makes all the difference. In the music world, Laura Jane Grace of the punk band Against Me also made headlines when she came out as a transgender woman. Her transition was big news because the punk rock scene hasn't always been welcoming to gender diversity. But Laura didn't back down. She kept performing, kept writing music, and kept sharing her journey. Her openness gave a lot of people the courage to come out too. And then there's Chaz Bono, the child of Sonny and Cher. His transition was one of the earliest high-profile stories to hit mainstream media. Back then, it was even rarer for someone in the spotlight to be so honest about such a deeply personal change. Chaz didn't just share his story through interviews, he documented it in a film, giving people a behind-the-scenes look at the emotional and physical steps of transitioning. He also became an activist, speaking out about trans rights and the challenges the community still faces today. Their journeys show that living as your true self isn't always easy, but it is always worth it. And while these names are famous, the issues they talk about affect millions. Many celebrities have not only lived their truth, but also used their platforms to help others understand what it means to be transgender or non-binary. Some have done this through their work in film and television, while others have used music, fashion, or activism to make a difference. Laverne Cox is one of those powerful voices. Long before she became a household name with her role in Orange is the New Black, Laverne was speaking up about trans rights. She became the first openly transgender person nominated for a Primetime Emmy in an acting category, but her influence goes far beyond awards. She's always talked about the struggles that come with being a Black transgender woman in America. Laverne uses her story to show how things like racism, poverty, and being transgender can create even more challenges. But despite all that, she continues to fight for justice, especially for those who don't have the spotlight. Challenging unfair systems has also been at the heart of India Moore's journey. Known for their role on the TV show Pose, India brings attention to issues often ignored, like how hard it is for transgender women of color to find jobs, safe housing, or even access healthcare. Their advocacy isn't just about talking, it's about pushing for real changes that make life safer and better for transgender people, especially those from poor or minority backgrounds. Chaz Bono, who we mentioned earlier, also turned his personal experiences into public action. After transitioning, he didn't disappear from public life. He leaned into it. He used his story to help others understand what transitioning actually involves, both physically and emotionally. Today, he continues to speak up, making sure the transgender community is not just seen, but also respected. Let's also talk about the Wachowski siblings, Lana and Lily, the creative minds behind the Matrix movies. Lana transitioned first, followed by Lily, and both did it while continuing to work in one of the toughest industries, Hollywood. They've shown that storytelling doesn't have to follow the same old rules. Their films explore identity, choice, and freedom, topics that hit even harder when you know their real-life stories. Each of these public figures faced fear, criticism, and in some cases, even danger. But they didn't let that stop them. They proved that living openly as a transgender person isn't about fame, it's about freedom. Their stories connect to something bigger, the need for visibility, acceptance, and respect for everyone, no matter how they identify. And their courage makes it just a little easier for the next person to live their truth. Mina Caputo, the lead singer of the metal band Life of Agony, is one of the few openly transgender women in the heavy metal scene, a genre not typically known for its openness to gender diversity. Formerly known as Keith Caputo, she came out publicly as a transgender woman in 2011. Her announcement came as a surprise to many fans. But for Mina, it was a step she had been building toward for years. Growing up, Mina struggled silently with her gender identity. Even during her early years in the music spotlight, she felt like she was living a lie, performing under a name and identity that didn't reflect who she truly was. Despite her success in music, the emotional weight of hiding her true self became overwhelming. She finally decided she could no longer deny who she was and began her transition. Another young figure who gained attention is Zaya Wade, daughter of former NBA player Dwyane Wade. When Zaya came out as transgender, her family supported her openly and proudly. Her journey showed how important family acceptance can be. Zaya became a symbol of strength for other kids going through the same thing, and her story reminded people that being loved and supported at home can make all the difference. In the fashion world, people like Lena Bloom and Catalina Enriquez have broken barriers. Lena was the first transgender woman of color to appear in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Catalina became the first openly transgender woman to compete in the Miss USA pageant. These moments weren't just about beauty, they were about showing that transgender people belong everywhere, including in places that didn't always welcome them in the past. Some stories are about personal transformation beyond gender. Jessica Alves, once known for wanting to look like a human Ken doll, later embraced her identity as a transgender woman. Her transition included both physical and emotional changes, and she has spoken openly about the surgeries and challenges she faced. Her journey is a reminder that everyone's path is different, and it's okay to change direction when you find your true self. Even in comedy, voices like Ian Harvey have made a big difference. He uses humor to talk about gender, identity, and what it's like being a transgender man. His jokes aren't just funny, they open people's minds and make tough topics easier to understand. By being honest and relatable, he shows that laughter can be a powerful tool for change. What connects all these people is the bravery to be real in front of the world. Their stories are not just about surgery or changing names. They're about finding peace, claiming identity, and helping others feel less alone. Whether through acting, music, pageants, or everyday life, each person has helped push society a little further toward understanding and acceptance. Their stories show that transitioning isn't about becoming someone new, it's about becoming who you've always been. And by sharing that truth, they're helping to create a world where everyone feels free to be exactly who they are.